Hi all. Today we are gonna talk about the topic called machine learning. This is kind of like a hyped keyword in the recent times. It's basically because of the abundance of data that's available to us at our fingertips. If you see, there is immense amount of data that's available to us in different aspects of our life like our social media data, the YouTube recommendations that are being given to us and so and so. To talk about machine learning, one of the simple use cases of how we apply machine learning in our day to day life would be if we think of our electricity consumption. That's like a perfect example where we can apply machine learning techniques to understand the patterns and see how our future consumptions are going to look like. So, if you have got your consumption data for electricity for the past 12 months, you would be able to identify the seasonal and trend components of the data. By seasonal and trend components, I mean with your electricity consumption, it's gonna have a seasonal dependency. Like your consumption is gonna be higher during summer season and bit lower during the rainy season. So these kind of like data trends are what we actually capture, and then it's gonna predict for the future with the models that we train it on. Now, the next question is, if you are a college graduate or anyone who would love to get started in the field of machine learning, where do you start or what are the first steps that you need to take? I have been in that same place and I made a transition from software engineering into data scientist. I would definitely suggest that people who are good in programming and statistics will have an upper hand, but with time and effort, anyone can become a master. The main components of machine learning are model and data. The data is the crucial part. With the vast amount of raw data that's available to us, how we transition that raw data into meaningful data is the key part, because if you want to train a model, it depends upon what data you are feeding into that model. As long as you are feeding in correct data, it will give you validated outputs. Otherwise, you are just going to get garbage. So, the data pre-processing is one of the crucial steps in machine learning. There are different tools that are available, different libraries that allows you to handle this data processing and all. If you think about model, it's like a black box depending upon your expertise, which can be fine-tuned, or it's kind of like a black box that's provided to you with a fixed set of configurable parameters, and it can be fed with inputs and the outputs will be decided based on the pattern that it has learned during the training phase. Now, to get a good understanding of the basics of statistic concepts and how do you do modeling, I would recommend the machine learning course by Andrew Ng, and it's in Coursera. Coursera is actually a paid platform, but still this course has been actually considered as one of the building blocks of how you can actually move your career into data scientist. If you don't want to pay for the course, that's fine. You can still audit the course. So the course structure is kind of like it takes you from a problem statement and how do you get the data for that problem statement? How do you clean that data? How do you train a model? What type of model you want to use for that problem? And if there are issues coming up with that model, how do you get rid of it? How do you fine tune it and all those sort of stuff? So it gives you a general overview of the problem from the start towards the end. And it's taught in like very simple terms so everyone can make a sense of it and understand. There are some assignments if you are going to pay for it, and you can just take assignments and get a course credit at the end. Once you have passed the basic stage, I would say that start with a problem that has an impact in your day to day life. Just collect data, make a good pre-processing of that data, and try out different models and see whether you are getting any good insights from the data that you are trying to analyze. And once you have done that, you might be wanting to solve the problems that's actually available in a larger scope. So there are different platforms like Kaggle, Analytics Vidhya, which actually post a lot of good competitions, or like generally they have a lot of data sets that are available which you can play around with. And one of the roadblocks that you will find at that point in time is your local computer memory or your compute power won't be enough to handle that level of data. That's where I would suggest all the cloud platforms like GCP, AWS, they all have open source lot of their auto ML models, and they give free credits to explore these services. So once you have become comfortable with the basics topics, I have attached a link which gives you a description on how to get started with the cloud platforms and how to make use of the free credits. So there are a lot of data sets available as well. You can have a play around with the data sets, make use of the different data tools that has been exposed by them, and then see for yourself how they fit in with the data and how it's actually transitioning into beautiful insights. Do let me know if you need any further clarifications or if you need any further support. Thank you.